Good morning, dear students. So today we are going to discuss about the next portion in botany, and this is the second class of botany for you. And in the previous day we have discussed about a small portion in the first chapter, that is reproduction in organisms. I hope all of you read the lesson well, and in this day we are going to discuss the coming sessions. That is, before that, in order to brush up your previous knowledge, I will explain briefly that we have studied in previous class. So in the previous class we have discussed about lifespan, and in that we have I have told you to write the lifespans of different animals, the pictures given in your textbook. So I will explain the answers for you, and here in your textbook there is given the pictures of different animals and you have to write the lifespans, right? So here I will give you the answers. For elephant, the lifespan is 60 to 90 years, and in the case of rose plant, the lifespan is 5 to 7 years, and in the case of dog, the lifespan is 20 to 30 years. It is an approximate value. So the lifespan of butterfly and crow is already given here, and in the case of banana tree, the lifespan is 25 years, and in the case of cow, the lifespan is 20 to 25 years, and the lifespan of parrot and crocodile is already given here, and in the case of horse it is 60 years. In the case of fruit fly it is 30 days only, and in the case of rice plant it is 3 to 4 months. Okay, that's all. And in the case of banyan tree it is 200 years. So this is about the lifespan of different animals that is given in your textbook. Okay. So I told you that lifespan is the period of birth to the natural death of organism. So it will different, it varies according to the organism. So it is not dependent on the size or anything of the organism. Okay. Then we have studied about reproduction, right? What is reproduction? And there are two different types of reproduction. I told you earlier that sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction, and in the case of asexual reproduction I told you that there is no gamete formation, there involves no gamete formation, and the offsprings produced will be identical to its parent. Okay, and we have discussed many examples for asexual reproduction like budding in hydra yeast, and binary fission in amoeba, and in your textbook there is given the pictures, the asexual reproductive structures like zoospores in Chlamydomonas. I told you that zoospores are the motile small microscopic spores, and it is found in Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas is a algae. Okay, conidia in Penicillium. Conidia means finger-like structures found in Penicillium, and buds in hydra that we have already studied, and gemmules in sponge. Sponge is an aquatic organism included in the phylum Porifera. Okay. These are the structure, the asexual reproductive structures, and it is very important area and you have to familiarize with these pictures. Okay. And here is given also the vegetative propagules or the vegetatively reproducing structures for you, that is buds in the germinating eye buds in potato, and nodes, adventitious roots and nodes in ginger, and bulbils in agave, and adventitious buds from the notches in the margins of bryophyllum, and also offset in the case of water hyacinth. These are the vegetatively reproducing structures or the vegetative propagules found in different plants and other organisms. Okay, you also observe these pictures very clearly and it will came for your examination. Okay. So these are all about asexual reproduction, and we have also studied what is the difference between asexual reproduction and vegetative reproduction. Did you remember that? Yes, vegetative reproduction is taking place in the case of plants, and asexual reproduction in the case of other organisms. Okay, now we are moving on to the next topic, that is sexual reproduction. This is one of the most important area in this chapter, sexual reproduction, and I have given a brief account for the sexual reproduction, that is sexual reproduction involves the formation of what? Male and female gamete. It involves the formation of male and female gamete either by the same individual or by different individuals of opposite sex. It is important that the opposite sex, that is male and female gamete, is involved in this sexual reproduction, and I have given you a clear picture of that in previous class, that is the male gamete fused with a female gamete and it will give rise to zygote. It is the offspring formed during sexual reproduction, and it is the male gamete. I have represented it like this. Did you remember that? The male gamete can be represented like this and the female gamete can be represented like this. Okay. So, the male gamete fused with the female gamete forming zygote. This is the basic thing that occur under sexual reproduction. Okay. And it is an elaborate, complex and slow process compared to asexual reproduction. It is much more complicated or complex process. Okay. And there are mainly 3 phases in the life cycle of sexually reproducing organisms. Apart from the asexually reproducing plants and other organisms, there are mainly 3 phases in the life cycle of sexually reproducing organism. 3 phases. Now you see what are the phases. Okay, first phase is juvenile phase. Or it may be called as vegetative phase in plants, okay, or vegetative. It is only for plants, okay, vegetative phase in the case of plants only, and juvenile phase, it is the first phase, that is the growth and maturation of the organism occur. It is the phase before attaining sexual maturity. Okay, this is the phase in which growth and maturation occurs, and it is the phase just before attaining sexual maturity. Okay, and the second phase is reproductive phase. In this phase, in this reproductive phase, the actual reproduction, the period of reproduction is called as reproductive phase. Here in this period, the reproduction, the sexual reproduction occurs to the organism. Okay. And the third phase is senescent phase. It is the aged phase, that is the period between the end of reproductive phase and death is termed as senescent phase. Okay. So, there are three phases in the life cycle of sexually reproducing organisms. The first one is juvenile phase, that is the first, that is period of growth and maturity. So, the second phase is reproductive phase, that is the reproduction occur, the period of reproduction, and the third one is senescent phase or aged phase. This is the phase between the end of reproductive phase and death of the organism. Okay, these are the three phases in the life cycle of a sexually reproducing organism. So, then according to the flowering of organism, there are two types of plants or two types of flowers. Okay. According to the flowering of organism, there are two different types of plants. Two types. Monocarpic plants and polycarpic plants. So, according to the flowering of plants, there are two different types of plants, that is monocarpic plants and polycarpic plants. So, since the term itself means that mono means single. So, the plants flowers only once in their lifetime. Okay. So, the monocarpic plants means the plants that flowers only once in their lifetime. The examples for monocarpic plants are rice, wheat, then bamboo. Then you must heard about Neelakurinji. It says that Strobilanthus kundiana. Neelakurinji, in scientific name it is called as Strobilanthus kundiana. So, these are the monocarpic flowers, which means the plants which flower only once in their lifetime. So, these are the examples like wheat, rice, bamboo and Strobilanthus kundiana. So, bamboo flowers only once in their lifetime between 50 to 100 years. And in the case of Strobilanthus kundiana, it flowers only once, like after 12 years. Okay, it flowers only after 12 years. And in the case of polycarpic plants flowers during the per year or seasonally. It will flower seasonally or per year. So, it is called as polycarpic plants, and the major examples are all the perennial plants like mango tree, jackfruit tree, all are the examples of these polycarpic plants. Okay. So, the example of polycarpic plants are mango tree, then jackfruit tree, etc. So, according to the flowering of plants, there are two different types, monocarpic plants and polycarpic plants. Okay. Then we moving on to the next topic. about mammals. The organism which have mammary gland is called as mammals. Okay. In the case of mammals, there are two cycles, or there are two cycles in their lifetime, that is estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. You must heard about it, right? Estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. Estrous cycle occur in the case of non-primate organisms. Non-primate. Non-primates like dog, rat, then sheep, cow. These are the non-primatic organs, and there are lots of examples. So, estrous cycle is the cyclic changes occur during the reproductive phase of non-primate organisms. Okay, what are the examples of non-primate organism? Dog, sheep, and cow, rat. These are the examples for non-primates. Okay, and the menstrual cycle occur in primates. Primates like monkey, apes, etc. Man also. Okay. So, the menstrual cycle occurs in primates like monkey, apes and human beings all. So, these are the two cycles occurs in mammals, estrous cycle and menstrual cycle. So, estrous cycle is the cyclic changes occurs during the reproductive phase of non-primate organisms, and menstrual cycle occurs the cyclic changes that occurs during the reproductive phase of primate organism like monkey, apes, human beings, etc. So, these are all about mammals, and there are a group of plants, group of organisms that reproduce seasonally and that reproduce continuously. So, according to that, the organisms are classified into two, that is according to the reproductive period, the organisms are classified into two, that is seasonal breeders and continuous breeders. What is seasonal breeders and continuous breeders? The term itself has the meaning that seasonal breeders, the organism, the animals that reproduce only during certain seasons, only during their certain period of their lifetime. So, these are called as seasonal breeders. The examples are the non-primate organism that have estrous cycle. I have told you that. So, that type of non-primate organisms have seasonal breeding capacity. So, this will reproduce only during per year or or per season. So, the examples are non-primates. Okay, and the continuous breeders have the reproducing capacity any time. So, they reproduce at any time, they have the reproducing capacity at any time of their life period. So, this kind of the term itself has the meaning that continuous breeders. So, the continuous breeders are have the capacity to reproduce any time in their lifetime. Okay. So, the examples are primates. Primates having menstrual cycle, right? So, primates have the capacity to reproduce continuously. Okay. So, these are all about the breeding and all. Okay. So, now we moving on to the next important portion, that is the stages, the events occurs during the sexual reproduction. Okay, major stages or the steps in sexual reproduction. There are mainly 3 events. Okay, 3 events in sexual reproduction. That is, the first one is pre-fertilization event. Okay, pre-fertilization. And the second one is fertilization. And the third one is post-fertilization. So, there are 3 events, 3 major events occur during sexual reproduction, that is pre-fertilization events, fertilization events and post-fertilization events. Pre-fertilization means what? Yes, the events occur during the sexual reproduction prior to the fusion of gametes. That is, the events occur during the sexual reproduction just prior or the before the gametic fusion, before the fusion of gametes. Okay, it is termed as pre-fertilization. Then what is fertilization? Yes, fertilization is the in fertilization there is fusion of male and female gametes occur. Okay, and in the case of post-fertilization, the changes or the events occur after, just after fertilization is termed as post-fertilization. Did you clear that? Okay, then we study it, each step in detail. We can study. Okay, so what is pre-fertilization and what are the stages, what are the steps included in pre-fertilization? So, in pre-fertilization, the events occur during sexual reproduction prior to the fusion of gametes, or the pre-fertilization also have 2 major important stages. Okay, there are 2 important stages in pre-fertilization, that is gametogenesis and gamete transfer. So, these 2 are the major stages included under pre-fertilization events, gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Gametogenesis means the formation of male and female gametes. Okay, gametogenesis means the formation of male and female gamete. As we all know that fertilization, for the sexual reproduction, there involves the formation of male and female gamete. So, through gametogenesis, this male and female gamete is formed. Okay, so this first step include the formation of male and female gamete. So, there are 2 different types of gamete, that are homogametes or isogametes. And heterogametes. These are the 2 different types of gamete formed during gametogenesis. Homogametes, or we can call it as isogametes, and heterogametes. So, homogametes means, this term itself means that it is similar type of gamete. That means the male and female gametes are similar in structure. Okay, the male and female gamete may be small, motile, and likewise. So these are gametes with a similar characteristic or the same types of gamete. It is found in cladophora. So cladophora is an example of algae. So homogametes or isogametes are found in cladophora. And in the case of heterogametes, the gametes will be dissimilar. That is, the male gamete will be small and motile with 2 flagella, and the female gamete will be large, non-motile and without flagella. Okay, and the male gamete is called as antherozoid. Male gamete is called as antherozoid. Antherozoids. And the female gametes is called as egg or ovum. Okay, so in the case of heterogametes, there are different types of male and female gametes, and male gamete will be small, motile and with 2 flagella. Okay, the example for male gamete or the male gamete is called as antherozoid. Okay, and the female gamete, in the case of female gamete, it will be large and non-motile without flagella, and it is called as egg or ovum. Are you clear? These are the 2 types of gametes formed during gametogenesis. And the example is also given, cladophora, and the example of heterogametes are found in fucus and in human beings. And in human also. In human also heterogametes are present. So these are about gametogenesis, and based on sexuality, based on the sexuality of plants or sexuality of organism, there are 2 different types of sex, that is unisexual and heterothallic dioecious. So, according to the sexuality, the organisms are classified into 2, that is unisexual and bisexual. Bisexual or homothallic or monoecious and in the case of animals, it is called as hermaphrodite. What is hermaphrodite? Only in the case of animals. Okay. So, according to the sexuality of organism, there are 2 types of organism, that is unisexual or heterothallic or dioecious organism, or bisexual, homothallic, monoecious or hermaphrodite only in the case of animals. These are the 2 types of organism, that is unisexual or bisexual, heterothallic or homothallic, dioecious or monoecious. These are the these 3 are the same, have the same meaning, and these 3 have the same meaning. So there are 2 types of sexuality, unisexual and bisexual. Are you clear? Okay. What is unisexual organism? So, unisexual organism are the organism either with male reproductive structure or female reproductive structure. They may be having only single reproductive structure. Okay. The unisexual organism will be having a single reproductive structure. Okay. And the second type is bisexual. Bisexual organisms are the organism will be having both the sex organ or both the reproductive structure within the same organism. Okay. So, these are all about the sexuality in organism, and the rest will be taken in the next class, and you must read the textbook very clearly. Okay. Thank you.